What's up guys, it's Francis and welcome to my first video in my back to school series. And yes, I just said back to school, and yes, I'm crying real tears. I know this is kind of early, but I also know that a lot of people, unfortunately, I feel so bad for you guys, but some of you start school like July 20th or something, and that's just super ridiculous. I don't go back till September 1st, but I know that some of you guys start early, so I figured that I would start early too so I could accompany all of you guys. So as you probably have already read, this is just going to be my high school experience so far, freshman and sophomore year, and also some advice for you upcoming freshmen, from the transition from middle school to high school, give you guys some advice. Okay, so first I'm going to start out with my high school experience so far, my freshman and sophomore year, and then I'm going to go more into freshman advice, and I'm kind of losing daylight, so if the lighting shifts a little bit during this video, that's why. My freshman year, I thought it was going to be really difficult, and I thought the transition was going to be hard, but it really wasn't. The classwork, the class load, wasn't that challenging, I guess, for me, just because I found ways to study and do my work and also have a social life and riding and sports and all that stuff. My freshman year, my classes, I'll just go down the list. So the classes I had were English 9 honors, gym/health because we have to take, it's required to take 2 years of gym, Spanish 2, intro to journalism, which we have a lot of intro classes that you have to take to be able to take the advanced class next year. So I took intro to journalism, and then algebra 2/trig, and biology honors, and world history 1 honors. I took the hardest classes I could take as a freshman, and in my opinion it wasn't that bad for me. I've heard a lot of people have some really bad experiences with high school, but personally I think if you just find the time to study, you'll be fine and not get caught up in the high school drama or whatever. You should be fine. It's really not as hard as everybody makes it out to be. So that was my freshman year. I had the same 2 best friends that I've had since elementary school, and we still hung out. But high school is pretty cool because you start to venture outside of just your best friend or your 2 best friends, and you start meeting new people and realizing what cliques and stuff you belong in, because even though everybody hates to admit it, high school is just a culmination of different cliques, and the people you hang out with depend on your similar interests, I guess. So I still had the same 2 best friends, but I also got some more best friends that I would hang out and stuff, and that's pretty cool. But the downside of high school, I guess, is that after that year ends, you may not see that person at all the next year if you don't have any classes or lunch together, which kind of sucks, but then it gives you a chance to meet more new people. So I don't know, it's kind of there are pros and cons to it, but it's really not that bad. And then moving in to sophomore year, my classes were chemistry honors, Spanish 3 honors, world history 2 honors, advanced journalism, which I took because I took intro to journalism for a freshman year, math analysis dual, English 10 honors, and gym/health/driver's ed. I am one of the youngest people in my grade, so everybody else pretty much in my driver's ed class had already gotten their permit, and I did not, and I still have not gone to take my permit. I've been so busy that I just keep putting it off, but I'm plenty old enough to get my permit. I haven't done it, but I totally recommend that the day you can get your permit, go get it. I'm weird. I don't really have that much of a desire to drive, unlike most people, but if you do, then you go get it, girl. Or guy. I mean, I'm not sexist here. So sophomore year, there was a little bit of more workload. I had to put a little bit more of studying time in, but I mean that's expected. As each year goes on, it's gonna get harder. I forgot to mention that my freshman year I went out for track, and I did track for that year, and never again will I do track. I love running, and I run on my own time. I run almost every day, a mile or 2, and it feels good and I stay in shape and stuff, but track was just really rigorous and just too much for me. It took up way too much of my time, especially since I already do equestrianism. I already have a full-time sport. And my sophomore year I also got involved in a lot of clubs, because I want to get into a really good college, so I'm trying to do like as many extracurricular activities as I can. Sophomore year, I traded a sport for doing clubs, so I went into NHS, which is the National Honor Society, the NSHS, which is the National Spanish Honor Society, math club. I did Spanish club, and I was also treasurer of my SEA. In my junior year, I plan to run for president of my class for SEA. One of the most exciting things that I got was the Hobie Award, and it's basically just like the Hugh O'Brien leadership like seminar thing that you get chosen to go to in your state, and I got to go to one of my state's colleges for like a weekend and do that, and it was really fun. It teaches you just about like community service and like giving back to your community, and it was very inspirational, and I'm really glad that I got the chance to go. So, and then the summer of my sophomore year, which I'm currently filming this video in right now, it's summertime, thank God, I am working. I mentioned in my last video that I work at a pizza shack, and then I'm also doing personal or economics and personal finance online, so that I don't have to do it my junior year, because it's a class that's like required for us to graduate. But I figure that if I can just do it online and get out of the way, then I can just take another class in its place. I turned the light on so that you can see me a little bit better. Hopefully it's not like completely washing me out. So that's enough about me, and now I'm gonna give you guys some advice. Some freshman advice I have is don't be overwhelmed when you walk into the high school. It is bigger than your middle school, but it's essentially the same concept. Like, you're going to classes, you meet your friends, you go to lunch, you talk to boys, you get good grades, and then you get out. Like, one of my ways that helped me my freshman year was to stay organized, and the way I did that was get a planner. I know everybody says this and they seem like really cliche, but they're literally so important. Like, you don't know how many times that I've forgotten an assignment or like forgotten there was a quiz until I looked at this and was like, oh crap, like there's a test tomorrow, I should probably study for that. My school gave their own out, and I'm like gonna cover up the name and everything, but we have our own like school one, and this was my sophomore year one, so like you can see where I wrote in it and all of this stuff. So planners I think are really important, and I think they're like the first essential you need for starting high school, because you will get more assignments and you will have harder classes, and you want to be able to remember everything that you need to prepare for. Now I'm gonna get into like actual like social advice and stuff. Don't try to be someone else when you're in high school just because like that's who your friends want you to be, or you think that's who you are. If that's not you, then don't do it. Like, I know a lot of people change themselves to try to be like in that clique. Odds are there's another clique that completely encompasses who you are. Like, if that clique is not accepting you for who you are, then you don't need to be with them. Like, you can go find someone else. That coincides with my next tip, which is don't go into high school with the mindset that everybody's gonna like you, because there's always going to be someone that doesn't like you for absolutely no reason, and there's nothing you can do about it. It really irks me when people like get upset about that. I'm just like, that's part of life. Like, you just have to accept it and move on and find the people that do like you. So just don't go in with that kind of mindset. My next freshman advice is, this irked me so much as a freshman. Like, my other freshman peers would do this and I would call them out on that. Like, it made me so mad. Do not congregate in the hallways. Like, do not just stop to talk to your friend in the middle of the hallway, because in between classes, like, it's a flow. It's like a river. Like, people are trying to get where they're going, and you're like a dam in the river. Like, you're interrupting people just want to get where they're going, and you're messing that up, and it's just really irritating when somebody stops in front of you. And I've run into people, and I used to say sorry, but now I just don't say sorry. Like, I just kind of push them out of the way, and I'm like, well, I mean, you shouldn't be sitting in the middle of the hallway. So the last freshman advice I have for you is boy related. My 8th grade to freshman year, I had a boyfriend, and then we broke up for a little bit, and then we got back together, and we broke up at the beginning of my sophomore year. So we dated for like 2 years altogether, if you want to count, but like, I mean, I liked him and everything, like, we were together, and I obviously was with him for a reason, but boys are not all it's cracked up to be. Like, you need to be in a relationship in high school. In fact, I recommend not being in a relationship in high school because it just distracts you from everything else. And when you're sitting in class and your phone buzzes because he texts you, like, that's a distraction because you're not paying attention to the teacher. And if you have a boyfriend, don't act like you've never done that, because I know you have, because I've done it. You do not need to do like any sexual stuff as a freshman. I think that's crazy. So it's hard, like, if these senior boys like start hitting on you, you're like, oh, I'm a freshman and he wants me, like, oh, I must be special. You're not special, you're just an easy target because you're a freshman and he knows you're gonna have that type of mindset. So just don't fall for any jerk guys. But on the same token, I'm not saying that guys are like awful. Like, if you get a relationship in high school and it's genuine, then good for you, you're doing better than the rest of us. Don't get obsessive over not having a boyfriend, or guys, come to you and focus on yourself for the time being. So yeah. So that's all my freshman advice and like high school recap so far. Let me know if there's any specific videos related or unrelated to my back to school series that you want to see. I know my next video will definitely be a haul. I'm just waiting for the rest of my stuff to come in, and then that'll be up. And comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!